What's going on, family? It's Bashari Jones.
And I'm Kiana.
And welcome to KUWJ Live, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes, welcome.
The Love Cast. So we are here to inspire.
Yes, we are.
To educate.
Yes, we are.
To empower.
To
entertain.
But
most importantly, to celebrate couples.
Yes.
From all over the world.
Yes.
From all walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
So be careful what you ask for. Because you will get it.
Yes, you will.
Okay, because we do have a couple here that's on another part of the world.
Yes, they are.
Okay, and they have another walk of life.
Yes, they
okay. Do. Well, also we want to introduce today our special guest, our co-host.
Yes.
Okay, one of our first couples that we interviewed on the podcast.
Yep. The second to be exact.
The second couple to be exact. This couple has been our has been our table talking police for our Know Your Partner gang. Okay, they keep things in check. They bring law and order.
Yes,
okay,
they do.
To the podcast. And we definitely appreciate them for all their support and all that they do. But we want to bring on just one half today, but we're going to bring on the better half.
Yes.
Okay, the better half of the Gill. So welcome Michelle Gill as our co-host.
Yes, welcome Michelle. We're so excited to have you today.
Good morning. New year, 2022.
Yes.
Absolutely. So this couple, the Gills came on because this was actually their idea. Mm-hmm. They actually brought this to us, and they brought this lovely couple, I can't say couple because it's a throuple, right? So they brought the throuple to us and said, hey, you know what? How about we interview a poly couple? I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So this couple is, I think they is it
Israel?
Right?
You're in Israel?
Jordan. Think Mike. All right. So they're actually in Jordan. Okay. On the other side of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And this couple is actually going to share their story. They're going to educate us.
Yes.
All right. On polygyny, because a lot of times we think we know what it is, or we have our ideas, we have our own opinions, and we just simply don't know.
We don't know.
Because I'm the type of person I would tell you, if I'm not doing it, I do not know.
We don't know.
Okay.
Which is why we do this show, so we can be introduced to different couples who have different lifestyles and different ways of being in a marriage.
Absolutely. So we're going to introduce to some and present to others, all the way from Jordan, the Max family to the Max. Let's give it up. So welcome, you guys. We are excited about having you on.
Yeah.
We're excited about being educated.
Yes.
And learning, about this lifestyle, this way of life, this marriage, this union.
Yes.
We respect all marriages as unions. And let me pull down my Detroit hat and let you guys know that we got some more Detroiters on here. So we just want to say, for those of you who will be watching on YouTube, if you're going to be listening on Sandbox Radio, so please leave your negative judgmental comments to yourself. This is a judge-free zone. Okay, we do not judge.
Not at all.
We are here to learn.
Yes.
We are here to be educated.
Yes.
We come here with all humility.
Yes.
Okay, I might say some silly stuff, but I'm just don't take what I say serious at all. Okay, but this is a judge-free zone, so we're saying, if you're going to say anything disrespectful, or if you're trying to troll, just leave those comments to yourself.
Please.
It's
a positive space.
It's positive space. If you feel like you really got to get it out, then write it down on a piece of paper, then burn it. Okay. You just figure out a way to get it out. So we just want to give that disclaimer.
Yes.
And because we want to show love. We want to show nothing but love.
Absolutely.
Okay. On this show. So what we want to do is we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear exactly, you guys go ahead and tell us your names and how this whole thing, the origin story of how this whole thing began. The Max family.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having us. That's one. We definitely are excited about being here. We're definitely excited about sharing our story and giving some understanding as to the lifestyle that we live and why we live it.
All right.
I'm just glad to be a part and to be able to share how we have come together, not just married, but as a family, as a whole. Because yes, I'm married to Max, but Felicia is also my sister. She's just not the other wife, or I'm not just the other wife. We're sisters.
Right. And for me, I guess I'll start with the origin story, right? So, you know, for everybody, my name is Max. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. It all started with Felicia and I. Felicia and I, about 5 years ago almost, we actually got together. We started dating. And I'm not trying to sound spiritual, because most people don't know what that means. But, you know, we had two different ideologies as far as one, monogamy and polygyny, right? So she was based on monogamy, you know, one husband, one wife. I wasn't like that. It was plenty. And it all came down to what I knew, that some people read the Bible, some people read the Quran. But for us, we read the Bible, right? So it's in the Bible, it's in the scriptures, it's in the Bible, of multiple men having multiple wives. For those that may not necessarily know, if you're African American descent, you may come from a multiple marriage household, right? So it was like, okay, you know, and I think it was one time I brought it up to her. She always used to tell me that, Max, you're gonna have a harem someday. One day. But that wasn't my main priority, and it wasn't my main focus. My main focus was getting myself right, getting her right, so we could be on the same page together. About 2 years ago, we were still in America, and she was like, Max, you know, I think Arivia should be your wife. I've known Arivia for over 4.5 years, right? We always in a religious group together, right? So we've been friends for over 4.5 years. And she came to me and said, hey, Max, you know, she'll be the only one that I will allow you to marry. And I'm like, allow me to marry? You don't tell me who I'm going to be with, who I'm not going to be with. But I understood what she was saying, right? She was the only one that she felt comfortable being with and being around. So I was like, that's fine. But I didn't give it second thought. I didn't entertain it, anything like that. I was just like, no, Arivia and I, we're just really good friends, you know. That's my road dog. That's my sister, you know what I mean? So about a year ago, you know, she came up to me again when we was in Girard, Jordan. She was like, you know, Max, I think you're already doing the role of a husband. You already been a husband to her. So you should just do it. And I was like, nah, not really. So about April, was it April?
Yeah.
It was April, right?
Yeah, around April.
It was around April of this year. We was last year, right? Last year.
It's 2022 now.
Right. So April of last year, we was taking a walk, and Felicia brought up the conversation again about Arivia being part of the family. And that was the first time I actually kind of entertained it, because I knew for me, I was on a different place of maturity at that time. You know, my mindset had changed. I was growing up. You know, also I wanted more children. Just my way of life, our way of life had changed, and our dynamic, our relationship had changed. So it was like, okay, you know, this is something I could do. And we all sat down together, as Arivia came in October 2020 to Jordan here with us. And we all sat down together and we talked about it. And I know that Arivia needed some understanding prior to that, but you know, it's in the Bible, it's in the Quran. For instance, we're in Jordan, right? This is a norm for over here on this side of the world. It's normal for a man to have multiple wives, whether it's in the Western side of the world where you only have one wife. A man can have one wife, but over here it's normal. You may look at it as a little funny for not having multiple wives, especially depending on your status. You know, so this is normal. So, you know, living over here and knowing that this is the practices over here, in part is partly due to our upbringing as a people. You know, it's not just, oh, Max wanted to be with Arivia or Max want other wives. It's part of who we are as a people. That's historical. That's historical fact. So, you know, we got the idea. She was okay with it. I was okay with it. Felicia was okay with it. And we just tied the knot back in May. You know, May 5th, we just tied the knot and here we are today. Two keys in the storm.
So you and Arivia are technically newlyweds.
Technically, yes.
Congratulations.
So just to clarify, you've been with Felicia, your first wife, for 5 years, and you've been with Arivia, your second wife, since May, which has not even hit a year yet.
No.
What's that, 8 months? Was that 8 months? No, 7 months, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 7 months. Yeah, exactly.
A wife, he's been with her
Right.
since May.
Right.
But as far as friendship and friends, we met Arivia at the same time.
Right.
So we were all in the same group. So the friendship and relationship with Arivia started at that point.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I know, right, babe?
Right. So note to self is that if I go to Jordan, I'm a sucker because I only got one wife. Like something wrong with you, fella. No, I'm just kidding. Don't take nothing I say serious. Don't take nothing I say serious. I'm just joking. I'm just gonna be a sucker.
He gonna be my sucker. How about that? That's my sucker.
Be a one wife sucker.
My sucker. That's right.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Oh, that's very interesting. That's a very.
I wasn't joking.
That's a very interesting story. That's a very interesting story. In much respect, man. That's so tell me so you guys just pretty much did. So there really wasn't a proposal, like you guys didn't do no traditional ring on the knee or none of that.
Was there an actual ceremony, like a traditional wedding ceremony for both?
Well, okay, I was the one who really didn't know a lot about our lifestyle and who we were as a people from ancient days. So I was just beginning to learn about who we were as a people, not the modern day Black people. We're talking about our ancient, I don't want to say culture because we're not a cult at all, but who we were.
Our lifestyle.
Our customs.
Our customs.
As a people, we were a nation at one point. Now we're kind of so divided and so, brainwashed, and everything that we were was taken from us. So it's like relearning who we are again and learning to put away the things that we have been taught over these hundreds of years, going back to the way our forefathers and so forth lived. It was interesting. So some of the things that I've learned about who we were, helped me to embrace who we were, the life we lived, in those days, and had the willingness to let go of the life we were taught. So it's like unlearning those ways and relearning and learning again the way our ancestors lived. So, you know, that's why it's something, and it didn't start out this way. It really did not, because when, it's funny because I knew Mac's family. I knew his mom and his brothers and his sister. I knew all of them for years because we went to the same church. So I didn't even know there was a Max, which was strange because it wasn't like me and his mother and his family wasn't close, you know? So, you know, one day he showed up in front of the church, and, you know, I was at the door greeting people as they coming in and, you know, just overseeing some things. And I was like, who is that? He's cute. I ain't gonna lie. I saw this big teddy bear outside. I was like, oh my goodness, you know? And so after the service, I saw his mother talking to him. And when she came back inside, you know, I was trying to get him to come inside and have a seat so he don't have to stand outside, because he looked a little agitated. And I was like, you sure you don't want to come in? And he's like, no, I'm good. And it seemed like the longer he was out there, the angrier his face got. And I was like, you sure? I'll sit you in the back. I won't put you in the front. You know how ushers are. They want to usher you in the front. You fill up the front first. Just don't sit in the back, you know, I won't put you in the front. And he was like, no, I'm good. So she came inside from talking with him, and I was like, you know him? And she was like, yeah, that's my son Max, my youngest son. I was like, what? Because I didn't know, you know, you got to be careful what you say. That could have been her boyfriend, I don't know. So she's like, no, that's my son Max. And I was like, wow, okay, he's cute. So I left that alone, and I was like, man, leave that woman's children alone. She and I actually are around and about the same age. And Max, of course, was, you know, her youngest son. So it's like, okay, you know, let me go on about my business. Stop thinking about this dude. So like a year later, they invited me to come, me, my sister, and her husband, because we were, you know, church family. So we knew each other. They asked us to come and celebrate his mom. Her name is Denise's birthday. So we went to a restaurant in Manhattan, and I was like, oh shoot, Cutie's here. And me and her sitting up there having a conversation. He's turning all red. So I asked his older brother if he can teach me more about scripture, because I wanted to learn more. Because at that point I was just, you know, I was a worker in the church. I did everything. So I needed to know more about who this mighty one I served was. So he agreed to me and my sister doing a Bible study. And so we went to the Bible study, and Max, you know, was supposed to come. Max actually had asked about me to his older brother.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, Max.
I didn't know that. I did not know. He was like,
what's up with her?
So he saw what he saw, and he liked what he saw.
All right. I heard that.
And I won't say. So anyway, so we did the Bible study, and Max was supposed to show up, but I didn't know he was even coming. So he got sick and he didn't show up. So he came to the next one. And I was like, oh shoot, Cutie's here. So I thought, you know, because he didn't want to come into the church, that, you know, he didn't want to have nothing to do with any of that religion type stuff. We started talking in the Bible study. This man's stuff started flowing out his mouth. I looked in shock and awe, like, who is this? You know? And we just decided from you know, a couple of times from there, you know, we went to play some pool and decided, okay, we're gonna get together, and we just started dating from there, and that was it. You know, people were against it, but you know, I was like, he's a full-grown man.
And that's the crazy thing is that it's like, what relationship doesn't come against? It's like,
Oh, that's good.
it's like, you know, regardless of like, you know, people weren't for our relationship at all when we first got together. You know, he didn't think we was gonna work, or you know, he thought we was moving too fast, or because you know we have an untraditional story, you know, as well. But it's funny because everybody that we've had on the podcast, everybody has not one story has been the same. Everybody's story has been different. We all the way to, we got people that have been married, you know, 10 plus years that met at the club. You know, where they tell you to never go find your wife. You're like, don't go find your wife. Don't go find your spouse at the club. And here they are, married 10 years plus. So it's like, so it's like we try to put these stigmas on how it's supposed to happen. Like, it got to happen like this, and it happens to happen, you know, this way. And if it doesn't happen like this, then, you know, quote unquote, God doesn't ordain, and then we can't, you know, support it or whatever it is. But not one origin story has been the same. And that's one thing that we love, is we love the diversity of every origin story, because it's your love story. It's your love story, and it belongs to you. So we just definitely want to
y'all.
Well, to you guys, you know, you can be plural as well as singular, I believe.
He said you.
You all, y'all. All right. You all, y'all. All three of you. All of them. So, you know, so definitely congratulations to you guys, and just want to, you know, say salute to you guys. Love story.
Yes. I did want to ask a question to Felicia, because you said y'all started at the Bible study and y'all started dating. So how long did you date before you actually decided to get married? And you said there wasn't a traditional proposal. So how did it come about to where you were engaged and then married?
Well, it was about a year that we was seeing each other. But in the lifestyle that we come from, when a man and a woman consummate, they're considered married. That consummates marriage.
Sex.
Right.
Oh, for those who didn't understand, I got you.
Right.
Make it plain, right?
I told my wife we was married long before we got to the altar.
Exactly. And it's funny that you say that, because
we're gonna do this right now.
Right. Because when I say, well, you know, we got married in September, he's like, no, we were married before September. We were married back in April. It's like, oh yeah, right. I keep forgetting. It's not the ceremony that constitute us being married. It's us coming together, him knowing me.
In an intimate way.
I was about to say, the Bible said, and he knew his wife.
Exactly. So it's not going to the state and having the state getting into a marriage contract with the state, because that's what you're doing when you're going.
You're marrying the state.
You're marrying the state. That's why you got to go to the state to dissolve the marriage. You know, so we didn't do it that way. We did it more traditional, based on the lifestyle of our people. So, you know, it was about a year before we actually had the ceremony.
So why were people, you said that some were against your, you two getting together. Why was that?
It was mainly because of the age difference. And because I was friends with his mom prior to, I knew his mother and his family like 6 years prior to.
So what is the age difference, if you don't mind us asking?
There's a 22-year age difference.
Wow.
22 years.
Look at you, Max.
Okay.
Hey.
Another one's about to be age difference, so it is what it is. Now we're 15 years apart.
Right.
And I was just finna start on Ariva because so would you say there was actually a courting process with you and Ariva? I know you knew her already, y'all were cool, y'all were tight, you already were doing things for her. You and Ariva and Felicia, I understand y'all were very, very good friends already. So when the decision was made to make her a part of the family, did you actually court her, Max, before actually you did so how did that go? So y'all just made a decision and how did that go?
Yeah, we just made an agreement and then we got in bed together and consummated the marriage.
Oh.
You know, marriage,
Like that. All right.
that's it.
Just
You
like
know,
that.
marriage.
This ain't rocket science.
It ain't rocket
Right.
science. It ain't rocket
It
science.
really isn't.
You know, what a lot of people fail to realize is that marriage has nothing to do with love, especially in the beginning. You have to learn somebody. You have to grow. You have to develop together. So it's like an arranged marriage. For instance, there's plenty of arranged marriages, you know, past and present today. So at the end of the day, it's not about love. It's about, a lot of times in history, it was about war, you know, making treaties with other companies or countries, etc. So for us, you know, once we made the decision, you know, I know she was a little nervous. I was very nervous because I've never seen her in that light. You know, I never seen Ariva in that light. So I was extremely nervous, but I also was nervous because I understood the responsibility that was going to come with this. It's not just me having another wife or other wives. This is a great responsibility. This is a great task. So bringing her on, she's another human being. She's another soul, right? So it's like everything that comes with her, the baggage, the guilt, the insecurities, and the good things too. You know, the strength, the willingness, the determination, everything that comes with her, it's not just going to be hinged on me. It's going to be hinged on Felicia as well. So it was a great, when I came to the conclusion of saying, okay, I'm gonna do this, you know, I really made up in my mind that this was something that I was gonna do. And it was gonna be for the benefit of all three of us, not just me. Because I believe one thing that a lot of people are disillusioned about a man having multiple wives, it's just, I've heard a lot of women say, oh, the man's benefiting. That's not true. That's not necessarily true. There's a lot of responsibilities that come with that man has to understand. And if
like,
you know,
like what? Like, it, just to give us an example.
After this question, we got to get into the game because these are the questions we really want after the game.
Oh,
after we,
okay, so I tell you what, we'll save that
after we drink. Then he could talk about being responsible.
we can do that.
He needs a truth serum.
right?
Okay.
So yeah, it's not cool.
But I love that you touched on the fact that it's not just all pleasure, because I'm gonna be honest, that's how I saw it. Like, I mean, he got two wives. I mean, what does she get? You know? So yeah. I love that you touched on the fact that it's not just all pleasure. That's a great responsibility, and we're gonna touch on that a little bit later. But Shari's right, and I just want to make sure, because I wanted to make sure we understood with, as far as Ariva, that there was no traditional engagement. It was an agreement, and then there was a consummation of marriage. And was there actually a ceremony with Ariva as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so after you consummated the marriage, after the agreement, how long was it before you actually had the ceremony?
About a couple of months.
A couple of months later.
Okay, which was in May 5th of last year, correct?
Yes, May 5th of last year. So
Okay,
we had
yeah.
of last year.
So we had the ceremony in July.
Right.
We consummated in May.
Oh, so that's what you're counting, okay, as the beginning of the marriage. But the actual ceremony was in July.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have two separate anniversary dates with each wife?
No, I don't celebrate anniversary day.
Oh, y'all don't celebrate?
No, we together.
We're
We
together.
just together. We don't do that.
Okay, y'all don't do that.
Marriage simplified. See, it's more people, but it's more simplified. See, marriage simplified. Like, we together. Like, we together.
You gotta get this thing simplified.
Need a date for her. We're doing this. This is real life. There's no games here.
Okay. So we're gonna get into the game, right, babe?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into the game. All right, so
y'all.
this is the Know Your Partner game. The very first rule is that there are no wrong answers. No wrong answers. So you know, if Max doesn't get the same answers as you guys, like ladies, you cannot jump him after the podcast. Okay. I can't beat him down. You know, but no, seriously, there are no wrong answers. So you can't get upset with your spouse if you don't get the right answers. Because if you didn't know the answers, then now you know. Right. So this game is for knowing and education purposes
and fun. Yes.
Second rule is that everybody must have their own piece of paper to write their answers down. Right. You cannot discuss the answers. You have to just write the answers down. You can't peep at your partner's card to see what they're writing. Okay. No table talking.
No table talking.
Perry and Michelle will get you guys.
She's standing in for Perry, our table talking police. We got Michelle here.
She will send a citation all the way to Jordan. For table talking. And if you guys get the same answer, you guys can celebrate however it is that you want to celebrate. If you guys want to high five, if you guys want to play musical chairs, if you guys want to do the kid and play, whatever you want to do, you can celebrate. If you guys write down the different answers, then we all will just take shots.
Taking shots.
Take shots. So you can drink whatever it is that you want to drink. We don't believe in peer pressure, even though sometimes I try to do it, but we don't believe in it. So you drink whatever it is that you want to drink. If you got to shoot water, shoot water. You know, orange juice, whatever. I'm going to be shooting Crown, which I probably shouldn't because I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% recovered from whatever I just had this past week. I don't know what it is. What I had, of course, everybody told me what I had. Of course, you know they did. Yeah, you got the vid. Everybody told me I had the vid.
I was calling families. I heard Bashari got. I said, where you hear that from? Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But alcohol kills it all, right? So it's actually the first time I even took a drink in a whole week. So
we didn't even pop bottles last night.
I've been drinking tea in Colloidal Silver.
Oh, we should have ordered some Jubilee wine. Oh, yes. Let's definitely give a shout out for Perry.
Oh, yeah. Got to give a shout out to Jubilee wine.
Yes. I love that. Okay. We ready for this game? Y'all ready?
Y'all ready? All right. So we're going to ask every couple or throuple on every podcast. And this is a question that's important to the Joneses. This is actually a book that we read to help strengthen our marriage. It's been a very strong pivot point for our marriage. Very foundational. Taught us how to love each other in better style. In better style. So actually, we got to ask this question 3 times. That's what makes it even better, because some of these questions that we will ask only 2 people, we got to ask 3 people. So we have the opportunity to take more shots. All right. So the very first question is, we're going to start off with Max, with the man in the house.
Yes.
Indeed.
What is Max's number 1 love language, based off the book The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman? Not sure if you read the book, not sure if you read it or if you even discussed it.
Let him for real. So yeah,
we read it.
Okay, cool. So what is Max's number one love language? You have to write the answer down. You guys cannot discuss the answers. And we just want to see if all of you guys write down the same answers for Max's number 1 primary love language.
Look at Max. You looking pretty confident sitting there, Max.
You're like, my ladies got this. Like, they know this.
They better. They got it.
It's no wrong answer.
It's no wrong answer. So if they got different answers, guess what? We will all figure out, because Max will tell us.
You're gonna let us know.
You're gonna let us know. All right.
Right.
So you ladies got the answers down?
Yes.
Wrote down the answers. All right. Who wants to reveal first?
Max
I
should reveal
will.
first, right?
I will, because this is a lesson I've really got under my belt now.
Nice.
His biggest love language is that you got to think.
So you got to give him the 5 love
So I got to give you the 5 love languages. I'm going to get ready to drink.
I just want to say that the 5 love languages is not all the love languages. There's much more.
I know.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
But we're going to go off the 5. So the 5 love languages are acts of service, gifts, quality time,
touch,
and
words of affirmation.
that's correct. Words of affirmation.
but see,
I'm not up there.
exactly.
That's not him.
That's not his, none of those are his love languages.
Nope.
None of them.
I don't care about none of them.
Don't care about none of those.
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Then I'm going to drink then.
None of those.
None of them.
None of those
I
can
drink with
even be
you.
classified as his secondary love language. None of them.
Really?
Really. So, as
So does Gary Chapman has another book that we don't know about?
no, but life does.
I mean, absolutely, life does. Absolutely, absolutely. A book of life, because I'm a thinker as well. So when you say think, I could definitely relate to that, because I'm a deep thinker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but my love language, you know, is touch and quality time. You know, like I love for my wife to touch me, and I love for us to spend quality time doing quality things together.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that too.
So what we discovered was in our marriage, we were feeling misunderstood because we were speaking our own love language and not each other's individual love language. So as I'm performing acts of service, because that's my number one, fixing his food, bringing him his play, doing his laundry, you know, all of those things, I felt unappreciated in the marriage because I felt as though he wasn't appreciating all of this extra effort I was putting in to show him love, where he didn't recognize that because all he wanted me to do was sit down on the couch, watch a movie, rub his head, you know, cuddle with him. That was his love language. Where I would be frustrated, like, who has time to sit on the couch? Look at this house. We gotta cook, I gotta clean, I got laundry to do. So this was really bringing conflict in the relationship. So once I understood his love language, I learned to, okay, the dishes could sit in the sink. I could watch this movie with my husband without worrying about the dishes in the sink because I'm giving him love right now. This is his love. Even though it drives me crazy, I'm putting that to the side because this is me expressing love to him in his language. And the same thing for him, where Bashari may be busy, but he doesn't get as annoyed maybe with me asking for so much around the house because he now understands that's my love language. You know, him taking out the trash, him washing dishes, him helping out with the kids. That right there can get him lucky. Okay.
Right.
And so we asked this question because we realized that this was a big disconnect in our marriage, because you couldn't tell me that my husband didn't love me. I knew he loved me. That wasn't an issue. It wasn't that we didn't get along. It wasn't that we didn't have similar goals. It felt like we were missing each other. Like, have you ever been in a situation where you're having a conversation with someone and you feel like they just not getting what you're saying? That's how it felt. And I'm gonna tell you something. Our relationship dramatically changed once we understood each other's love language and we made great effort to communicate each other's love language. So I understand what you're saying about there's more than one, but I have to say those first 5 have been very foundational for us and to a lot of other married couples. And if we could just maybe simplify the many others, and if y'all could just maybe take on, I challenge you to take on an exercise to where you just pick one of the 5 and you really try to learn each other's one of the 5 love languages.
Because even thinking could be tied to words of affirmation.
It could be.
Hold on. I'm not going to be peer pressured into this.
I just challenged you. There's no peer pressure.
No, you don't have to do anything.
No.
I know, but hear me out, right? So for me, you know, I always see myself as like an anomaly or just a different dude, right? So, you know, for me, I've actually helped teach them about the 5 love languages, actually. I met the guy in person. I met Mr. Gary in person, right? And that's one thing that exercise I had to do when I was at a particular job. I actually had to do that in order to keep my job. So I know about that very well, actually, right? But for me, I'm not on any of the 5 love languages, because for me, something that I understood and I'm still learning about myself, it all comes down to respect. As men, right? Because as a man, if you're not being respected as a man, then none of that extra stuff matter. I don't care. I tell my wives all the time, I don't care how much you cook. I don't care how much you clean. I don't care how much laundry you do. None of that stuff matter to me. I can do it myself. I don't need you to do it. So at the end of the day, is if you come in, because I'm meeting them where they are, right? So that's part of the responsibility as a husband. He has to meet his wives where they are. So if I'm meeting you where you at, and for me, my love language isn't up there, because it's not. It all comes down to respect and having an understanding of what I'm asking for. So if I'm telling you my love language is you doing what I ask of you to do. Now, you may not necessarily understand why I'm asking you, but if you ask me to tell you, I will explain it to you. I will tell you why I'm asking of you to do this, right? So when you don't do it, to me, it throws me into a tizzy, because I'm telling you what I'm looking for. So if you can't fulfill my task or what I'm asking of you, to me, all that other stuff go out of the window. It's just like for them, of Arivia and Felicia, I know touch and quality of time is their 2 languages. Are there 2 languages, because they love.
All right, we got to take a shot on that note, because we didn't get a chance to ask those questions. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot, because those are the next 2 questions. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot.
But I want to give my answer.
Okay.
Well, my answer, I knew that respect, because he has said it multiple times throughout our relationship, and we've had conversations about it. So respect, and like he was explaining, even what some of respect look like is obedience. And that also plays with what Arivia was saying, as far as he wants you to think, because sometimes in obedience, you may not think a certain way to get the job done. And we had like a situation just recently about that. And it was like, okay, but he was trying to tell us, it was just a simple thing too, of us going shopping. He said, don't spend over XYZ, right? So Arivia and I go shopping, and of course we went over. He was like, okay, but when you got to the register, and if I told you guys, don't spend over XYZ, and you both agreed before you left the house, you knew what my parameters was on what I needed you guys to spend. He said, I just want X and X. Everything else is up to y'all. Just don't go over this amount. So we went over a little bit, and he had to kind of explain to us, it's not, you guys should have thought, like when you was picking up this item or that item, you could have thought, well, you know what? Let me put this one back. This one could wait, or because I brought him some stuff too that he didn't ask for. Cause I was just thinking about him. You know how we do. Like I was just thinking about him. Well, let me get this for him. Let me get that. And he's like, but I didn't ask you that. but I asked you not to go over this, and you still went over that. So while you were sitting at the register and you saw it went over, why you just didn't put something back that I didn't ask for? You know, and it kind of made him upset, but I understood what he was saying about all I had to do was really think. Like, instead of me doing the thing that I wanted to do was to do something that was nice for him, I should have just did what was being asked of me. You know, and it's not that I didn't he says I didn't rectify, but, you know, I corrected my error and we went back to being at peace with one another. But that was important to him. That was more important than me getting him something in my own thought process. Instead of thinking like, okay, he told us not to go over a certain amount for a specific reason. I didn't think about the reason. I was like, oh, well, you know, it's a few dollars. It's no big deal, you know. But because women see like this, men see like this. They see the big picture. They're analyzing everything from beginning to end. And we're just like, well, you know, I feel like I want to just do something nice. You know, I didn't see the whole picture. That goes back to the not thinking, you know.
Very good. That's very good.
And then speaking, communicating with your partner about their love language is not about a specific category, but it's about studying your mate and knowing. And when I say study, I mean really study, not surface stuff. Really study them and know who they are, what they like, what they don't like, and making adjustments. You can't just go based on what you feel is right for them. That's why even to put somebody in these specific 5 love languages would be doing a disservice to them. Because if their love language has nothing to do with those 5, you're just working in vain for no reason.
Right. Absolutely. And the thing is that when we want to make sure that we're clear that nothing is an end all be all to a relationship. Like the 5 love languages, just like this much of what we, you know, there's so many different, you know, things that, you know, because we also, you know, big on different, you know, personal development books. We're also big on listening to each other, you know, and, you know, so I say in agreement with what you're saying, that there's no end all be all to just one thing. You know, there's so much that goes into a marriage, you know, so much that goes into a relationship. And the most important thing is love, of course. You know, you got to love your spouse, you know. If you don't love your spouse, it don't matter what you doing, you know, no matter what you do every book in the fire. You know what I'm saying? If you don't love your spouse, because you're not going to show no love anyway. Absolutely. Right. But we got to go ahead and get this thing rolling because we got very little time left on this portion. We got very little time left on this portion. So we're just going to ask a couple of more questions on the game. And then we're just going to see if you guys get the same answer. If not, then we're going to go ahead and take a shot. All right. So next question is going to be my nerd question, because we pretty much just did the whole 5 love languages really fast, because Max done gave out the other 2. So you will be receiving a table talking citation from the Gills. So just make sure that you know pay that with a cash check or a money order. All right. So next question. This is my nerd question. I'm not even sure if you guys are into the nerdy stuff that I'm into, but I'm into some nerdy things, right? Mainly, you know, like I'm a big superhero fan. You know, I love, I like, you know, Marvel better than DC, but I like both.
Right.
Okay, I like both.
That's him.
Absolutely good. Brooklyn in the house. All right, so my question. This should be good. This should be interesting. We're gonna take this one towards Max again, and that's if when Max sees this particular superhero, this particular person, he looks at this person and says, "Man, that's me." Like that guy, I can relate to that superhero. I can relate to him. That's my brother. When they created him, they had Max in mind. Who is that superhero? When Max sees this super, he's looking like, yeah, that I can relate to this guy. Like I really feel this guy. Like he's my favorite. Cause I feel him on a emotional level, on a intellectual level, his superpower, everything about him just reminds him of me. Who would that superhero be?
Okay, do you want the answers?
Yes, that'd be great.
Well,
yeah, write your answers down.
Okay, the person or the character, let me say character, that I believe he is most like is Optimus Prime from Transformers.
Wow.
I got the same thing, Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Wow.
All right.
Yep.
Wow, congratulations.
Wow.
So what would you say, Max? What was your answer?
No, you're right. Absolutely.
But what would you have written down? So you're supposed to be writing down your answers.
Right.
I don't need to write this down, man. I just know Optimus Prime is it, man. They know.
You're not playing the game right, man. Want to see you another citation.
That's citation number 2.
I'm gonna send you another citation. No, but it's all good. It's all good, man. That's much respect.
Optimus Prime, though?
So shout out to Optimus Prime. I love Optimus Prime, man. He's a true leader.
Yeah,
he's a leader. He has a kind heart. He's considerate of all creation. You know, but he's a warrior too. He'll go to battle.
Absolutely. I remember I was working in management and they had everybody write down leadership in one word. And I put servant. And everybody looking at me like I was crazy.
Yes.
Like servant. Like, well, you know, of course, none of you guys never did network marketing or anything like that. We had to be a servant leader, you know, because they were all like dictatorship type answers. I'm like servant, you know, if I'm a leader, I'm here to serve. But when you look at serving leadership, Optimus Prime is the epitome of that. You know, that servitude to the Transformers, to humanity. Absolutely. So shout out to Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Yeah, great answer.
All right. Next question is going to be, let's go, Felicia.
Uh-oh.
All right. So when Felicia's looking at the superheroes with Max, and she sees that lady superhero, and she says, man, that lady right there reminds me of myself. I relate to her. I see her in me. So the question is, who would that female superhero be? Who would that female superhero be?
Do I answer that as well?
Yes.
We're gonna bring the answer to. Yeah, go ahead and answer it now.
For Felicia.
But we're asking it for Felicia's. Felicia's answer.
Yes. Well, you know, I'm not into superheroes like that. So I don't even know for myself who that would be.
No, but right now you're table talking, so you guys are gonna receive another citation.
Right.
But it's okay.
That was so much.
Hey, look, we don't follow rules around here.
Right, they make
we
their
create the
own.
rules around
Right.
here. No, but it's all good. It's all good because, you know, sometimes, you know, you may not really know which one. Like when we had the discussion, like Kiana picked her own superhero, but I picked one that really, really, you know, in my eyes, really represented Kiana.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with your decision too.
You know, and I mean,
I got one.
You got one? All right, go ahead, Max.
Yeah, I would say that Felicia is more like Black Canary.
I don't know who that is.
No, Black Canary.
I've heard of Black Canary, but I have never seen Black Canary in action.
Yes, DC, right?
That's DC, yeah.
Right, she's a DC character. The reason why I would say that is because Black Canary is the first iteration of Black Canary. She was really quiet, didn't really say too much, right? But voice was her superpower, right? So when she speak, it was like she could cause an earthquake with her voice, right? So for me, Felicia's like that, and she too is a warrior type, but you would never know how you look at her because she has a certain sex appeal about her. She's very quiet. So for me, Felicia's like that. She's very quiet, right? Has a certain appeal. But when she speaks, she could like move mountains depending on what she's saying, whether it's for good or for bad.
Wow.
And she's like a warrior type. So I would say Black Canary.
Nice.
Wow, that was nice. That was a compliment, Felicia.
Yeah.
He's saying your voice is powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Felicia, she didn't know we're gonna go to take a shot, but we're gonna take a shot to Black Canary.
Yes.
We're gonna take a shot to great answers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that powerful voice over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't cause any earthquakes over in Jordan, please.
I won't.
All right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and have my wife ask a question. Or do you just want to do the last one that we usually do? Because I know we're getting ready to end this portion.
Yes, we're gonna have to definitely do a part 2 so we can continue with the game and then get to those deep questions that we're dying to ask. But I'm gonna go ahead and ask this question. I'm gonna let this be our last question, and I'm gonna ask it to all three of you as a whole. Max, would you mind writing it down this time for us?
Please.
Everybody write down your answer. Who is your number one power couple? That is the question. It could be fictional, it could be biblical, it could be famous, it could be someone in your family.
Or power throuple.
Who would you say is the Max family's number one power couple? That's a good question, huh? Got y'all thinking.
I got mine.
Well, she ready. All right. Baby, they did good this time. They ain't do no table talking. They wrote it down.
All we had to do was say please, huh?
Just say please.
Let's say please. Like, please. Like, please write them down.
So you guys ready? I've all wrote down your answers. All right. So who you want to start with, babe?
All right, let's go with
Arevia.
Arevia. Yeah, Arevia hasn't gone first.
Let's give you first place today. Right now.
I would say Abraham and Sarah. Because Matt's biggest desire is to have a heart like Abraham. And that's what he strives for every day, to live and to be and to follow.
Wow.
So
Nice.
I would say Abraham and Sarah.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. Who next, babe?
That's my answer too. I wrote it down. You know?
All right.
And that is also my answer.
Hey, that's amazing.
Absolutely. So I want you guys to know this is that this is not the first time Abraham and Sarah have given an answer.
That is true.
So now we've actually had 5 people on KUWJ Live to choose Abraham and Sarah as their power couple. So we're going to take a shot to Abraham and Sarah.
Toasting to the power couple. Yes.
Abraham and Sarah, the father of the faiths.
Taste that.
All right. So listen, fam, we actually got to get up out of here on this portion. We definitely want to give a shout out to Sandman.
Yes.
Sandbox Radio. radio.sandboxradio.com for allowing us to be on his platform. For those of you listening on Sandbox Radio, make sure that you follow us on all platforms, KUWJ Live, that you guys can get the information, more information on the Max families, that you guys can actually find them and follow them on social media as well, and continue to learn from them and their poly marriage and how they're doing things different a little bit from how we do it over here on the west of the world. Okay. And we just definitely want to keep our ears open and just and continuously be educated on what it is that we don't know, so that we can absolutely No. So we're actually going to go ahead and
We'll do part 2.
sign out, family, on Sandbox Radio. Peace to you guys. We will see you guys next week
For part 2.
For part 2.
Yes.